This is your linear function practice test, and I'm just going to work these out on the paper just to save a little bit of time and go through these, and hopefully these will make sense, and hopefully you got the right answers. Number one, determine if the given ordered pair is a solution for the function. Well, basically what this means is if this is a solution, that means if I put these values in for x and y, then this would be true. So is 3 times, and x is what? Minus 2 times, and y is what? Equals 8. So we'll put our values in, and our values were -3 for x and 4 for y. So is this true? So 3 times -3 is, oops, sorry about that. 3 times x minus 2y, does that equal 8? Is that true? So 3 times -3 is -9. And minus 2 times 4 is -8. We can put a little question mark here. Does that equal 8? Well, that's -17, and that does not equal 8. So no. Okay. I'll complete the given ordered pairs so that each ordered pair satisfies the given equation. So if I put, this is x again, and this is y. So let's just put x in here. Let's put 2 in and see what we get for y, because this tells us what y is if we know what x is, and we can go the opposite. If we know what x is, we can find out what y is. So first of all, let's put 2 in for x. So y equals -3 times 2 plus 6. I'm going to put 2 in for x. And that is going to be equal to -6 plus 6. So that would be 0. So when x is 2, y is 0. Now in this one, we're told that y is -3, so I'll just write the equation and I'll put -3 here for y. So I'll say, in other words, this is going to be -3, and I want to find out what x is, so I'll say -3 equals -3x plus 6. And then if I subtract 6 from both sides, -6, I got -9 equals -3x. And then if I divide both sides by -3, this implies that x will be equal to, if I divide -9 by -3, I get 3. So x equals 3. And you can always check that, does the left equal the right? Is -3 equal to -3 plus 6? Yeah, that's -3, so that works out. Or I should say is -3 equal to, yeah, y is -3. And x is 3, so that would be -9 plus 6 is -3, so that checks out. Okay, what is the formula for finding the slope of a line? Now this one you should know. The slope, we call that m equals y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1, one of the most important formulas in linear equations. The slope of a vertical line, well, you can kind of draw a sketch, and if you have a sketch here, a vertical line just goes up and down, and there's an infinite rise and no run, so we actually have, if we take the slope equals the change in y over the change in x, and notice that there's no change in x, so we've got delta y, the change in y over 0. If we have 0 in the denominator, this is undefined. We don't know what that is. So the slope of a vertical line, we say, is undefined. Undefined. Okay, because we have 0 in the denominator. The slope of a horizontal line, well, if we look at a horizontal line, then that's, again, is m is going to equal delta y, the change in y over the change in x. But there's no change in y because the y is always the same, because that's the vertical position, so that's going to be 0 over delta x. And x will be changing, so that's just going to be 0 if we have 0 on the top. So the slope of a horizontal line is 0. Okay, and then again, if we look at our axis, the slope of the y-axis, this is the y-axis, and that again is a vertical line, so that's undefined. But the slope of the x-axis is a horizontal line, and that's 0. So things you want to be aware of. Okay? So that's 1 through 6.